Giants are still there. They're hanging in. They're just on the outside, but can do some damage this week if they can master these Atlanta Braves, who've done some amazing things this year. To help talk about this series and more, she's covered baseball for a long time. Now for the Chronicle, of course, covering the Giants, it's Susan Slusser. Susan, I'm Jason Ross with F.P. Jr. How are you?
I'm great. I think I've known F.P. Jr. for about as long as Murph did, I think, it feels like.
Yes, you have, Susan. And I know you probably got a text from me yesterday, and you're like, oh, no, another Santangelo I got to deal with.
Another one.
Yeah.
I love my Santangelos.
Well, we love you. Thank you so much for taking some time today to join us.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's such an interesting Giants team to talk about because, there are a lot of things going on. Some of them good and some of them who knows what to make. Like this whole season, as you guys know, has been really hard to pin down. Are they good? Do they have the ability? Are they maybe not good enough? It's fascinating.
Yeah, and where do you stand? I mean, you've seen it for, whatever, close to 130 games now, and I'm with you. I thought before the year, I go, this has the makings of just like that 500 team, and then they were playing that way. Then they were way above 500. Then they have some tough stretches like they're in now. You've seen enough of them. What team are they more likely? Do you think they deserve to be a playoff team?
Well, the good thing is this, and this doesn't sound good, but I mean it in a good way. They're really streaky, and they seem very due for a good streak because they've had, certainly, especially offensively, they've been in the doldrums for too long. But you're seeing signs of some guys putting together better at bats and having a little more success. Michael Conforto got going, obviously. We are seeing signs that a couple other guys in the lineup are starting to pick it up. Austin Slater, who's very key for them in a platoon role and off the bench, looks like he, after a really long cold stretch, is putting it together. Once a couple of guys get going, they tend to all get going. So if they time this right, it could be a little bit like those really good Giants teams that went on to win it all, which, every year everyone would go like, this Giants team was not the best team this season, and here they are with another ring. I think these teams that go in as wild cards, I honestly think that at some years they have the advantage because they're not cold and they've had to play hot baseball for a long time. And with this big clump of teams in the wild card race, somebody's going to have to get hot because they've all just kind of been meandering around. Maybe two teams will get hot, but those are the teams that can do some serious damage in the postseason.
Susan, I'm a little concerned about the bullpen right now. I love your points about the offense and how things are starting to ramp up, and they are putting together better at bats. But the next 13 games, 13 games in 13 days, they're playing the Braves, the Reds, the Padres, and the Cubs. Are you worried about the bullpen at all with Camilo Doval? Maybe some fatigue just heading to this back part of the season?
The thing I'm worried about with Doval is he doesn't seem to have a good explanation on why he gets so weird with his, pitch selections. They keep emphasizing to him pitch mix. We don't want all fastballs. We don't want all sliders. And he tends to do one or the other. He's shaking off Pat Bailey, who calls as good a game as you're going to get from a big league catcher already. I mean, he is just all the pitchers are working with him. He's shaking him off. And so you go, oh gosh, he's gone away from his slider. Is he hurt? But his velo is not really down that much. And he says he's not hurt. So the only thing really left is fatigue. But to me, that doesn't explain why he's being so weird with just throwing one pitch or the other. It's just baffling. And he says he can't explain it either. So what is going on there, guys? I don't get it.
As far as tonight goes, look, they got a lot more season still to worry about, but tonight feels like a playoff matchup. Webb, Strider. This is a good measuring stick for this Giants team tonight.
Oh, absolutely. This is a fun one. Spencer Strider, he's had such a good season. And then when we saw him in Atlanta last week, man, he is fun to watch. Great stuff. Very smart. He's one of those pitchers where you can kind of think along with him and see what he's doing. He's got he's just really fun. This Braves team is good. They're the class of baseball to me from what we've seen so far. They're just so well-rounded. But he's a tough customer. But then Logan Webb, when he's on, he's also one of the best in the game. And he loves working with Bailey. I assume he's back working with Bailey. He had Sable last time based on they were facing a lefty the next day. So I think this is going to be a good one, guys, and it should be a full ballpark. It should be fun. You mentioned the Murph thing. It should be the whole weekend should just be a blast. There are going to be a lot of sort of storied Giants names of the past back around, I think, all weekend. So that's going to be wonderful.
Susan, I want to stay talking about Logan Webb. He's a local guy here in Sacramento. As you know, do you think he's taken that next step to be the Giants ace, to be that clubhouse presence that they've needed?
Yeah, he's definitely the leader of the pitching staff. He kind of took the baton from Kevin Gausman, who he was so smart in learning everything he could from Gausman, who's just a top-notch guy, and kind of, a little, not really all that vocal, but just sort of carried himself with I'm a team guy. I'm here for all of you. And you can always come to me and talk to me. And I think that's the kind of leader that Logan Webb is with the pitching staff. But he'll take guys aside and talk to them. And the neat thing is what he's learned from Kevin Gausman, he's turned around and he's doing with Kyle Harrison. And he, the other day, he gave him the, make sure you go out there and have fun, but also don't F it up, which he said he got from Brandon Bell on his debut. So he's really passing it down. But yeah, I love it. That is a great sort of mentor relationship he has with Kyle Harrison. That's a good one to pick to have be your mentor.
Well, Susan, want to follow up that. So we saw one outing earlier in the week, tough one in Philly for Kyle Harrison. Didn't give him a ton of innings, 3 1/3, I think less than 70 pitches. When do you think he pitches next, and what is next for round 2 for Kyle Harrison?
He could go Sunday, but also with it, it's always hard to tell with the Giants because they got so many guys that can open. They honestly could do anything with the guys who are more air quote starters, like Kyle. And they do consider Kyle a starter rather than an opener. I think they would like him to get built up to maybe 4 or 5 innings, and that's sort of vaguely the plan. So that might mean that instead of Sunday, they could move him to Monday, give him a little more rest, maybe give him have him be available for a few more pitches or something. Or he could go Sunday. I mean, that would be fun. If they want to keep him away from the Braves, he goes Monday. But I think the idea is to get him up to probably 90 pitches and have him be able to go 5. I don't know if they're going to go much more than that, but they would be thrilled if he could regularly go 5 throughout September.
Susan, I know you're very passionate about the Oakland A's, and I've loved seeing how vocal you are on social media and other outlets. Do you think John Fisher doing a round of interviews has helped or hurt his case to move to Las Vegas? And I think I kind of know the answer by that laugh.
I don't think that anyone has thought that any of the things he said were certainly persuasive. And at some point, sort of contradictory to the absolute facts. He keeps trying to point to Oakland as being the party that kind of derailed things when it's been clear that Oakland jumped through every hoop, provided every bit of money that they've been able to. Things were on track with Oakland, which I found extraordinary. I never thought that would happen, and Oakland was making it happen. It's pretty clear something happened financially with either the A's or Fisher, and he's just trying to back out of that project based on that more than anything. I think they also want to keep their revenue sharing. They have to have a stadium agreement in place by January to continue their revenue sharing next year. And this could all be as simple as that. But yeah, I don't get some of this media blitz by him, especially when some of it is just flat out lies. But he's had such he's so tone deaf to the fans, the longtime fans, and is so dismissive of them. And there are people who it's been generations of their families going to games at the Coliseum. It's been people that have been fans since they first started there in '68. It's such a hardcore group. And I know people go like, well, they don't even have any fans. Well, they've been systematically basically turned off the team purposely in the last couple of years, especially the season ticket holders, by the way they've been treated, and also trading away all their big players. You guys know all of this.
Yeah.
It's been sad to watch, really hard to watch, but I don't know what good, except for an owner's vote, and I don't know what owners are going to be swayed by any of this stuff he says, especially when some of it is so contradictory.
I don't know if I'm mixed with emotion here on wanting them to stay and clouding my judgment, Susan, but why do I feel like they could still botch this?
They could, because because they've botched everything to date. Yeah, absolutely. Totally possible. And if you're the owners looking at this guy and the things he's done with this team, is this the guy you really want to back at this point? I'm not quite. I don't understand why any MLB owner would look at this situation and go, "This seems great." yeah, this guy's really good for the game. He's not. He's really not. It's not. I think his intentions were good at a point earlier, and I do think he genuinely wanted to get a ballpark built in Oakland and then in San Jose. It's a shame that didn't happen because that would have been perfect. The money was there, the land was there, everything would have, that's. And hey, they definitely did try their hardest. The MLB is the one that dropped the ball on that. But what he's doing now is reprehensible, and this just doesn't seem like a good horse to back for other MLB owners or the commissioner. I'm kind of baffled by it.
Yeah, it's just unbelievable. Well, I know you're going to watch some really good baseball this weekend. Hopefully, will you guys be able to see each other then this weekend?
Hopefully,
yeah.
Susan, you're going to be there Sunday, right?
Absolutely.
Well, you're going to be bothered by 2 Santangelos, so I apologize in advance.
Be surrounded.
That's excellent. Sacramento's own.
There you go.
Yes.
Thank you, Susan.
Thanks, guys.
All
Thanks, Susan.
That's the great Susan.
Oh, she's the best.
She's phenomenal.
She's the best.
And I mean, honestly,